Yep. So, just got back from a bike ride. I think I asked myself this question. Well, firstly, hello. So I should get into the introduction. Yeah, I think I just kind of cracked, I guess, popped, and the question was, what advice would you give yourself if you were on your deathbed, right? And I mean, you as in like you now, not the critic, not the other parts of you, the you that's experiencing life, right? And recently went away, and I've been going through this sort of crisis stage of my life. But what was interesting was the response immediately was essentially, I think I said, just trying to recall it exactly, but it was do the crazy ideas. Whatever insane ideas you have, they're nowhere close to what you will be doing, essentially. So I think I've struggled for a long time to find the strength or courage to do things for me. It's always been for others, and it's so easy to do it for others. But simple things like needs, getting my needs met in all my relationships, boundaries, family and relationships, friendships, the ability to trust myself as well. I think there's so much that I'm like too scared to give myself, I think. And even making this video is terrifying because it's like putting myself out there. But I just don't care anymore, I don't think. Well, I do, but I'm just going to move past that fear. So one of them was do the crazy things. What advice would you give to yourself if you're in your deathbed? So advice to me, if I was old on my deathbed now, would be, do those crazy things. Make life whatever you want it. Work hard at the things that you want, and if you don't know what you want or you don't know what you need, go and try and find it. Go find it. Go look everywhere you think you want to go and do that. And for me, that's like, check out my shirt. Play DJ. For me, that's like, it's a lot, but I have all these ideas, and it's just like, it almost is like there's long-term things. There's things from when I was a kid that have been coming back up again, making music and traveling and just like crazy things. And I think I was always, what I was going to say, I was leading into was, I'll write this down. And this is why I wanted to make the video. So I was listening to One More Hour by Tame Impala, and I've stopped sort of looking for answers in music, and I've stopped really asking those kinds of questions anymore. But one of the things that came out of that on my bike ride was like, no one's holding me back. Every time I sort of say I like, or I want, or I'm thinking, or it's like something I want to do, everyone I have around me is very supportive and encouraging. So I think I really tried hard to think about it, and like there's obviously concerns and stuff that come up with family, like da 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 da, but if it's family, it's like everyone's got their own shit going on, so I can't expect them to be... Well, one, you can't expect anyone to understand. I think that's the most important thing. And two is, even though they were sort of concerned, they were still supportive in the way of me navigating it in a more safe route, I guess. Nothing wrong with safety, I've just never really been good at it, or never had really good examples of it. So what I sort of realised was that there's no external forces that are stopping me. No one's holding me back. No one's really telling me I can't do these things that I want to do. So why am I not doing them? And I think I clicked that as fun and as much joy as I get out of the thinking part of my brain and doing all that, I think I'm holding myself back. I'm the only thing that's getting in the way, and I project that onto everything and everyone else, worried about what I look like, worried about what I'm doing, worried about how I'm doing it, and no one else gives a fuck, firstly. But the looks aren't always what you think. It's all internalized. It's all that my critic, essentially, that I inherited. And in a way, my goal in life was always to not repeat history. But in a way, that's the one thing that's really gonna set me up to repeat history anyway. So even though it's terrifying, it's the one thing that I know that I have to do. And in this very confusing and very strange world and our experience of it, it's terribly hard and terribly difficult and terribly scary. But it's cheap. It's cheap to say this, but we're all gonna die, right? That's why the deathbed thing, I guess, came up. And so this small fear and worries and concerns and projected internalized critic is going to be irrelevant, essentially, in 5 minutes, 5 years, whatever. But it's keeping me so stuck, and it's like, why da 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 da. It's like, I think I just have to start doing things and failing often and really putting myself out there, because green tea, bang. See if I can find the lyrics. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna stop it. There we go. So, there's no insecure masters, no successful half-hearters. That was enough. Just that opening line in TARDIS. And I was like, I've just half-assed. Not even half-assed, just been too scared to do anything. And I've sort of connected the dots now that the internal critic is very much inherited, and that's not like, there's not much I can do about that but choose not to listen. And in a way it's freeing. It doesn't change that everything's still terrifying and scary and whatnot, but what would be more terrifying and scary is being on my deathbed and wishing that I'd done more. And I'm 26 years old now, and I've done a lot of things that I didn't necessarily want to do, that weren't me. It was me trying to find stability and safety and what I thought I should do, following under misguided, someone else's fucking misguided North Star, I guess. And so, in my current situation, it's like employment, I guess, and future. And I think balance is so important, right? But I think in order, I've just accepted the fact that I am, and this is another thing that I realized on my bike ride, I've been at sort of war with myself for my whole life, trying to fit what I thought everyone wanted to see and hear and wanted me to be. And that would avoid pain, and that would avoid hardships in the short term, but in the long term it would cause significantly more pain and hardship, and it was all self-inflicted. And I've been listening to Brené Brown's Dare to Lead, and my concept on courage and fear was kind of skewed, and she really cleared it up for me about courage, fear, and essentially coexisting, and shame and all these other things. And I was deeply ashamed of myself for things that I didn't understand and that I didn't have the capacity to explore internally because of conditioned fears and ways of living that weren't exactly normal, I guess. And I'm sick of being stuck in the past and letting the past control the now. So I think the biggest thing was getting out of that. It's like, okay, I'm not going to let the past control me now. So what do I do? How do I move forward? And it's kind of so terrifying, so obvious, and so everything that you just have to do. You have to formulate a plan of something that you want to do, because if you're really honest with yourself, it's there, and you go and do it. And it's like I haven't done that before, just to the capacity of half-hearted and what's the lyric? I wish I could find it quick enough. It's not gonna come up. But half-hearted, it's just not really possible to do anything unless you really commit to it. And I've always been a jack of all trades, and I think that's the best way to move through life, is that you pick up things everywhere. At least for me it was. Some people need the security, and I met a few really cool people while I was in Hong Kong, and this has helped me sort of narrow this all down to here. But something that we all had in common was sort of safety and security. And some people would float around the world and not really know what's going on and just do that, and some people would really commit themselves to one thing and still be terrified of sort of being stuck, or safety and security. And I think I found that I managed to get that safety, security environment from within while I was away, and that's been extremely empowering to move forward, because now it's like I can't really fail in the sense of like completely fail. It's always just an attempt with so much knowledge attached. And Yeah, I think I struggle to find one thing to pinpoint, and you don't exactly have to have one thing. Balance is important, but having one thing to be your primary focus, and you have these secondary, there's a bug flying around, secondary things that are sort of sitting there. So I'm going to take some water break. That's possible. Anything is possible. You can do whatever the fuck you want, really. So I think now it's kind of just come down to I don't know, just trusting myself and taking as much risk as I can. No matter what happens, continuing that. Yeah. But you need some kind of drive, right? And it's really hard to get that by yourself. Not impossible, but that's probably the best way to move forward. I've found anyway, is that having other people to be your motivator or your drive, your fuel, for example, it's not going to work. Because you'll find you'll outgrow people very quickly. And if you're like me, you can't really be around people for long periods of time. You need that alone time. So do it for yourself, and commit to it fully. It's not like a long-term commitment either. It's just committing until you get to a point, and perfectionism doesn't exist. So you have to be very kind to yourself and acknowledge when it's time. And you've done your best and you're starting to beat yourself up for it and it's starting to kill you, then it's time to move on. And you don't know where to go, but you just got to take that sort of leap into the darkness, and the universe will provide something. It always does. But you got to trust yourself. And trust and vulnerability, it's like one doesn't come without the other. But whatever's there, you need to do the opposite of in order to get the other one, if that makes any sense. So if you feel strong in vulnerability, then you have to really lean into trust, and then you'll realize that vulnerability and trust that you knew weren't really there in their full capacity. And that kind of goes with the balance of life, I guess, and challenging yourself to really do things, and setting intentions, finding a routine that works for you, and the productivity productivity will kill you. That is the truth. You can't be productive all the time, and people will try to monetize and take all your money, trying to tell you all these things, everything other than that. But what you really need to do is you need to find the balance in work, whatever that work is for you. And work doesn't have to be income. Work can be your passion, and income can be your, place you go to get money to fuel whatever you want to do. And then you need to balance play, rest, and recovery, or rejuvenation, however you want to do it. But work, income, rest, play, and recovery, or rejuvenation. Those 5 things, if you can find a balance in that, you'll be sweet. It takes time, trial and error, and I'm not there. But that's what I'm striving for now, to find that balance and to cultivate a rich environment for me to thrive, you know, doing those things well. So I'm so terrified of a lot of this, and even uploading this video, but I think I just need to kind of punch it and send it on, and keep myself accountable. I like to challenge myself in ways like social anxiety and general anxiety. Just challenge those, sort of squash the power that they have. I look like an idiot. Cheap shot again, but I'm gonna die. I'd rather just do it. I'd rather do it and live with that possible regret, or I'd live with whatever comes out of it, and I just don't care and just move on with my life. Acknowledge and feel the feels and do all that, but just fucking get back to what's important to me. And part of that is this video, going through this, having something to come back to, and hopefully this helps someone else out there. I don't know. I hope some of it made sense. Not everyone works the same. But yeah, this is just for me anyway. But yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's see how we go. It's Thursday the 27th of March at 4:21. I think I'll end it there, and we'll check in again. I might upload some other drawing stuff. I've got some secret drawing stuff that I can't talk about, but I'm going to record that video maybe now, and then I'm going to work on this business plan that I've got, which I'm super excited for. It's been something that's a really good idea that I've just been sitting on. So I think I really need to sit down, work through it all, just completely lay everything out, find all the problems, and I'm feeling good about it in a healthy way, I think, not in a too confident, cocky way. Anyway, that's enough. Thank you very much. I'll see you when I see you. Peace and love.